Hey Zuhara, welcome back to my channel. So I'm going to do the mid-year book freakout tag. Yay. I didn't mean to do this one. I just haven't gotten to it. I've been lazy. Haven't really been wanting to do much. I've just been laying down. So yeah. Uh, let's see. So number one is best book you read so far this year. Is it like? Does this mean like a book I read for the first time this year, or can it include reread? I don't know. I read Secrets like once a year, maybe sometimes more, depending on how many new books I have to read. But I haven't actually read it this far yet this year, so because if I had, I definitely would have chosen that. That's my favorite book every year. Um, but if it's talking about new books I haven't read, then I'm going to go with this book. The Exile of Shade and Shadow by Namuse Schmid and Rebecca Schmid. I haven't talked about this book in a hot minute because I was talking about this book in just about almost every video after I read it because I fell in love with it. My first autographed copy of the book too. I don't know if you can actually see that, but yeah. The authors are really nice. I saw them a lot on Twitter, and I fell in love with this book, and I can't wait for the second one. It's supposed to be coming out soon, sometime this month actually. So yeah. Next is best sequel you've read so far this year. So I don't think I actually read a sequel yet. I mean, I'm on Shadow and Bone, but I'm only on the first book so far. Because I've been in sort of a reading slump, but that's gonna change because I'm gonna do a reading sprint here soon, in like an hour. So yeah, that's fun. Um, all I read is series, so I would have had to read at least one sequel, right? I don't know. I might have to include a reread because I don't know. What have I read this year? I have no idea what I read this year because like I'm in a little of a slump right now, and then earlier this year I had so much overtime, and I was so tired and busy. I didn't have time to do anything but catch up on sleep. So yeah, there was a time when not that I was in a slump or anything, and it's like I wanted to read but just couldn't get the energy. It's just that I didn't have the time because these times I did have, I wanted to, you know, sleep. So I have no idea. What is the best sequel I've read this year? Um, this is harder than it should be. Um, I'm going with crap. I don't have the book because a friend is borrowing it. But the second book of Secrets of the Immortal Nicholas Flamel. I kind of took a break from that series. I mean, I've read it once, but that was a long time ago, so I don't really remember it. But the second book was really good, you know. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna go with that one because it's like I'm reading it for the first time. Because like I said, there's like almost nothing I really even remember of this series. So yeah, that's fun. Um, so I'm gonna go with that. Number three is a new release you haven't read yet but want to. A new release. I'm gonna go with the second book in this duology because I'm pretty sure they stopped at book two because that just came out recently and I haven't bought it yet because I mean I was in Florida for a little vacation at the end of May, and I went to Barnes and Noble with my sister and I saw the book and I really wanted to buy it, but then I was like, I don't own the first book yet, so I will wait until I get the first book. And then I come to Barnes and Noble here not long after I was back with my mom, and I found the first book but didn't see the second one. So I was like, I probably should have gotten the second one and then just get the first one because I mean, it's not like I would have read it yet. You know, I have a lot of books I could read while I waited for the first book and stuff. So yeah. But I'm gonna go with that one because the second book hasn't been out too long, and I don't think and I am really anticipating reading the first and second book because it's really. I mean, I love Avatar: Last Airbender, and I would love to get to know one of the previous avatars before Aang. And Kyoshi is probably my third favorite avatar after Aang and Korra. So I would love to read about her. Um, and yeah, so I'll definitely be reading these soon. This might be the book I read after I'm done with the Shadow and Bone whole series, like all three of the Shadow and Bone books and the King of Scars duology and the Six of Crows duology. Once I finish all of that, this might be the next book I read because one, I love Avatar: Last Airbender. Two, I really do want to find out, what these books are about, and three, because there's only two of them, so it also won't take as long as some of the bigger series I have. Because there's so many books I recently bought that I still haven't read yet because I was so busy and I didn't have time, and now I'm in a slump. But that slump's gonna end today. I'm gonna make sure of it. So yeah, um, so if you're a fan of After Last Seven, you should definitely check this out. I don't know if it's any good yet, but I've only heard good things. Which, yeah. So, and besides, Avatar is very popular. Okay, next is for most anticipated book for the second half of the year. Okay, so that's obvious. It is the second book in this series. It's the Daughter's Ransom series, and I love the book so much, and I can't wait. I don't think Luca or Astra are in the second book, which actually makes me really sad because I love their characters. But I hope I love the characters from book two. I'm sad that I won't get to see what happens with Luca and Astra because I don't think they're in here. Well, at least I don't think Luca is. I have no idea about Astra, but and even if one of them isn't in there, it's gonna be really sad because I love both characters and I love the friendship they have. So yeah, and the second book I'm just so anticipated for because it's left off at a cliffhanger, and I'm like, what the heck is happening? Please just give me the second book now. But it's supposed to come out sometime this month. I don't know the exact date yet, but um, I will be starting work again soon. So once I do and save up a little bit of money, I will definitely. This will be one of the first things I buy because I have to find out what happens. Okay. Let's see. Um, Number 5 is your biggest disappointment. Biggest disappointment. I don't know. I might have to go on Goodreads for that because I have no idea what I rated low this year. I haven't read that many new books, like books I haven't read yet this year. Like beginning of the year, I was reading mostly rereads, and then I got really into reading some books I haven't read yet that I haven't finished my rereads technically because I was going to reread Harry Potter, which I haven't read in forever, and I was going to reread Seekers. Yeah, I think that's all I had left of my reread. Well, technically, I have to read some Warriors, but that's mostly because I want to reread what I've already read Warriors before I finish Warriors, because it's been a while since I read that. I read that like in high school. Yeah, I would have been like 17 because I was living with my friend temporarily for like 6 months, and I was buying her copies of Warriors. And I only read the first 12 books, and then there's a whole lot more than that. So yeah, um, so biggest disappointment. Could I say Abraham for High? I don't know if that was at the beginning of this year or the end of last year. I'm gonna say that anyways because I don't remember if it was beginning of this year, end of last year, but it was. But I'm just gonna go with it. So Ever After High, um, I bought. There's like 4 books in the series, and I bought them because I remember when I was in elementary school reading one of the books, which was the third book, and I remember loving it. And it's about my favorite characters from Ever After High as well. The Wonderlandians, Lizzie, Maddie, and Kitty are my favorite characters from the show. So since that book surrounded around them and around Wonderland, which is like my favorite mythical place, not including Hogwarts, because Hogwarts you can't beat. But like out of fairy tale wise, like when you talk about Wonderland, Oz, Neverland stuff, Wonderland would be my favorite out of those places. But so yeah, and so I decided to read the books, because I was really happy to reread that one because when I first read it, because that was the only book I had read in the series, but when I first read it, I didn't know it was part of a series. So yeah, so I decided to read the entire series. Finally read it, and the first book sucked. I was like, and I was trying to force myself through because I was like, okay, you know what? Third book, I would have been sad if I didn't like the third book anymore because I forced myself to read all of this. And then the second book was a little bit better than the first book, but still wasn't good. And then third book I read, still loved it, rated it 5 stars. Then I read the fourth book, which is just it's like a prequel because there's just many stories from each of the characters from before they started school in the first book. So it was like their little summer vacation things. And even with the stories with the characters that I liked, I didn't really enjoy the stories all that much. So that one sucked and it made me sad. And if you guys do like Year After High want to read these books, you do and you guys want to try the third one because it's about your favorite characters as well and stuff. The only book you have to read to understand what's going on in the third one is the second book. You do not have to read the first or fourth book to understand what's going on in the third book. So I recommend only reading the second and third book because it's worth it to read the second book to get to the third book because that book was awesome. So yeah, I definitely say the first, second, and fourth books in that series was disappointing because I had kind of high hopes for them because I remembered loving the third one, and then when the others weren't good, I was like, crap, that's not what I had hoped for. Well, I do. I guess I'm kind of picky with books. Like I only read books that I am certain I'm going to love. Like I love almost anything that has to do with fantasy. And then so far I've loved every Aaron Hunter book because Aaron Hunter books aren't fantasy. It's like the only exception. But yeah, so I have got a little bit out of my comfort zone lately. Like I bought horror books. I love horror movies, so I decided to finally try a horror book or thriller books, one of the two. Which is Final Girls, because that sounds really interesting. And there is this mystery duology, because I do like mystery shows a little bit. And there's this mystery duology that sounds interesting, so I want to try that. But I mostly just get fantasy because fantasy I usually love. And whenever I do read a book that I don't like because I mostly rate things 4 or 5 stars. Once in a while 3 stars and almost never for 1 or 2 stars. So when it does end up being one of those books, I get very disappointed because I do have high hopes for my books because I don't go outside of my comfort zone very often. Okay, anyways, on to the next question. Number 6 is your biggest surprise. I have no idea what my biggest surprise was. Like a book I thought I wouldn't like and then end up liking because cause I never understood questions like that. Like, why would you get a book you don't think you'll like? I mean, it's one thing to go outside of your comfort zone a little bit, but at least get a book you think you'll like from a genre you usually don't pick up. I usually don't pick up any genre outside of fantasy except for Aaron Hunter's books. So, what? But there's always those questions like, what's a book you thought you wouldn't like but ended up loving? None, because I don't pick up books I don't think I'll like. Yeah, Final Girls is a little bit outside my comfort zone. It's over here somewhere. It's all the way over there. Um, yeah, I mean, I, I, I mean, yeah, I love horror and thriller TV, but I don't usually pick it up at books. But it still sounded like I might like it, so I still picked it up. If I didn't think I would like it, I wouldn't have bought it. Like I don't buy things that I don't think I'll like. I only get things I think will be at least a 4 star, if not 5. Like yeah, so I don't know what my biggest surprise was. Could it be a plot twist? Could that count? Because I'm sure I've read plot twists this year. I just can't think of it offhand. I'm sure I read a plot twist though. Could it be a character stats I didn't see coming either? I don't think I read one of those yet this year. I have no idea what I've read this year. Um, so I'm gonna skip that because I have no idea. Number 7 is your favorite new author or an author that's new to you. I mean, I don't have a favorite new author because my favorite author is always gonna be Aaron Hunter. I don't see that changing anytime soon. um, see, my thing is when it comes to authors, I don't no many authors, honestly. I mean, I know the big ones that are always talked about, and ever since I joined BookTube, I learned about more authors that are actually really popular that I didn't know about before BookTube. But like every series I own, not including my Aaron Hunter show, because I have to have a whole bookshelf just for Aaron Hunter, because I own 4 different Aaron Hunter series, and some of those series are long. So I know that doesn't seem like a lot, but that entire shelf's almost full with just Aaron Hunter books. So yeah. But I'm actually gonna get a bigger shelf for that one because Aaron Hunter's not gonna stop making books. I don't see that happening. And I'm gonna give this one because it's my smallest shelf, so I'm gonna give it to my mom because she's not a big reader. But I have bought her a few books I think she might like. I have some more planned, so I'm gonna give her this shelf just so she has somewhere to put her books. Because right now she's just putting them wherever she can find because she doesn't have shelves since she's not a big reader. I lost my train. Oh yeah. So like every book I own is like I only have more than one book of a author series, and I think I only own series because I don't. I'm not a big fan of standalones. I think Final Girls is the only standalone I own. Well, I don't know if Hocus Pocus and the All New Sequel counts, because yeah, it's technically only one book, but like part of it is Hocus Pocus and the other part is the sequel. So is it 1 or 2 books? Tell me that, 'cause I have no idea. But Beastly is standalone. Okay, there's another one. And yeah, I'm pretty sure those are my only standalones. I'm not big on standalones. I like series. That's what I write. That's what I read. I like standalones. Um, I mean, Tales of Beetle and the Bard kind of goes with the Harry Potter universe, so I don't think that counts. Um, so yeah. I mean, I only own one of the Julian Fantasy books, but they're going to make more, so technically it's part of a series. Same with The Exiled of Shade and Shadow. There's going to be a second book, so that doesn't count as a standalone, even if it's the only book in the series right now. Um, Riverdale, there's actually 5 of them. I only own one because I didn't even know they existed. Yeah, I don't own many standalones, only a couple. And what was I talking about again? What was this question? Oh yeah, okay, so my point of this is that I only will own one series or book that from an author. I mean, I do own the Percy Jackson series and the Heroes of Olympus series, but at the same time, they're like part of the same because they're all from the same universe, so I don't consider that 2 different ones from the same author, you know? Um, I know, what's his name? Yeah, what's his name? Neil Schusterman. For some reason, I wanted to say Nick, and I don't know why. One of the characters in that book is Nick, but I don't know. But Neil Schusterman, um, I know he's written other books. Wrote that Unwind series. Um, then he wrote. I think I read the first book though in class once, but I don't remember what it's about. Uh, then wrote the Sky series, and then I know the book that I know for him of though is the Skinjugger trilogy. I think his most famous one is the Sky one though. It's the one I always see on BookTube. But the Skinjugger trilogy is my favorite of his books. I mean, I might not be allowed to. I mean, I don't know if that counts for anything because it's technically the only series I read of his, but I love it and it's definitely underrated. But anyways, so yeah, I mean, I know some names like Cassandra Clare and Sarah J. Maas. Um, but the only author I have more than one series from is Aaron Hunter. Seekers, Warriors, Survivors, and Bravelands. 4 different series, but a lot of books, all completely different. And yeah, so I don't know if I can. I don't think you can call someone your favorite author if you only read one series or book of theirs. That's just my feelings on it. Like if they're really your favorite, then when you like them on more than things, same with your favorite actor or singer, you have to like more than just one thing they've been on or song to consider them your favorite. But that's just my opinion. Um, I keep getting into really long rants that I don't mean to. Oh well. Uh, but yeah, so Aaron Hunter's really the only author I've read more of then. So I don't have a new favorite author or an author that's. I mean, I guess I technically have authors that are new to me. I don't know if I've only read one book of theirs, like Namil and Rebecca Schmidt. You know. they're new to me. I mean, they're pretty new authors. I'm pretty sure that's their only book so far. But I'm gonna go with them then because I did really love their book and their writing. So I'm gonna go with them for this question. Number 8, your newest fictional crush. My newest fictional crush? Huh. I really like Elena from Shadow Bone, but I'm not that far into it yet. I'm gonna go with Astra because I fell in love with her. She's kind and kind of a little bit shy and smart and fierce and strong, and she's been through a lot, but she doesn't let that control her or determine who she is. And I love that about her, and I kind of fell in love with her character. So yeah. So I'm going with her. Number 9, your newest favorite character. That's hard. Who's my newest favorite fictional character? I really like Lena. I know it's really far into Shadow and Bone. I have a box set for them. The first book's not in here because I have it with me in my bedroom. But I really like her so far, you know? I don't know why, and I can't even say what it's about her. I just really like her. So I'm gonna go with her. 10, a book that made you cry. I Can it be a book I reread? Like I said, at the beginning of this year is mostly rereads, and I don't think a new book has made me cry yet this year, which is actually very surprising because I'm very an emotional person. What books have I read this year? Because I have no idea. Oh, I was wrong. I still need to reread Bewitched and so I do have one more reread, but that's only 2 books. Anyways, where was I? Skin Tiger Trilogy made me cry because it's sad. The ending, when Allie and Mikey had to say goodbye to each other, she wakes up from her coma and he goes toward the light and finally moves on. That was really sad. And Allie and Nick's little heartfelt conversation right after is also really sweet right before she wakes up. And he goes on to save Everlost. So yeah, that made me cry. I'm pretty sure that the effigy trilogy made me cry too. When Maya sacrificed herself and you thought she died. That was really sad. And also when you find out that June's alive and you thought that Aiden had died, that was sad because I liked Aiden despite what he did. I mean, he's still a good person, you know. Okay, moving on. 11, a book that made you happy. A book that made me happy. I have no idea. I have no idea what I've read this year. Seriously, I'm slacking. I'm not. Usually, I know what books I've read. I know I usually read so much more, but this year was just draining, and I haven't read nearly as much books as I usually read. But oh well. Sometimes life gives me way. A book that made me happy. I'm gonna go with the last book in Monster High. I mean, technically it's my second time reading this, but at the same time, like The Secrets of the Immortal Nicholas Flamel, I only read it once. That was a long time ago, so there was a lot I didn't remember. So it was kind of like reading it for the first time because most of this I didn't even remember had happened. But I'm going with the fourth one because it's the last book and it's about Draculaura, which has always been my favorite Monster High character, and she was trying so hard because the ghouls had fought so hard to make it so monsters and humans can live in harmony. And then her dad comes, and he's hardly around her to begin with, and and she's really insecure because she feels like her own dad doesn't even want to be in her life, and he's never there, and he never even listens to her. And then all of a sudden he comes up, and because he comes up and he's like, we're gonna make a whole monster school so the monsters never have to interact with humans. Yet his daughter and her friends fought so hard to live in harmony with humans, and then he's just gonna come around and be like, nah, that it can't work out. So she fought really hard to make it so uh, humans and monsters can um, so that the monsters can stay at normal school and stuff. And she technically lost, but then she won because even though they did open the new school, Monster High, normies were able to go there. So she lost and won because they were still able to be together, just in a different school. So yeah, and then she did have a heartfelt conversation with her dad at the end, which was really nice. Um, because apparently he kind of avoided her a lot because she reminded him of her mom who was dead, and uh, yeah, but they had a really heartfelt conversation. It was really nice. So yeah, let's see what's next. 12. Your favorite book to film adaptation. I mean, I'm going to change how I'm going to organize my bookshelf because this isn't working. But as of right now, this shelf is for my adaptations, the ones that have some sort of adaptation that goes with the book, and then over here are the ones that don't have any adaptations. So all these books have somewhat of an adaptation, whether or not the adaptation came first or last. What? A lot of these books I haven't read yet. That's my problem. I mean, I'm reading Shadowbone now, but I haven't watched the adaptation for it, so I can't say that. And I'm not even that far in the book, so I don't think I can say that. Favorite book to film adaptation? I haven't read Harry Potter this year, so I don't think that counts. I didn't watch it this year. Let's see. Could I go with Monster High? I just kind of went with Monster High, but I can grab the other Monster High series because there's two different Monster High series that are from two different authors, two different storylines, but some of the same characters. This is the other Monster High series, and I'm in love with the Monster High movies. I read them, watched the movies a few months ago, and then the other day I just rewatched them because I love them so much, just like I love the books. So yeah. So I'm going with that. 13. Your favorite video you've made this year? I have no idea. I have no science idea what's my favorite video I made this year. I've made a lot of videos, and I have no idea which one will be my favorite. What about one of the tags I created? My favorite video probably is a tag, because I love tags. I don't know which tags I've done this year. The Monster High tag I've done this year. The Scary Godmother tag I've done this year. And the Supernatural tag I've done this year. All three I created. I'm gonna go with all three because I love all three. 14. The most beautiful book you bought this year. Well, do I care about covers? No. A lot of times I don't even know what the heck the cover is until I've owned it for a little bit and actually look at it because I don't care about covers. I'm pretty sure I'm the only reader who doesn't because everyone's always like, and there's always questions like these, like, what's the most beautiful book? What's the worst cover you own? Like, honestly, until I joined BookTube, I didn't even know what the heck any of my covers were because I never actually paid attention. I did find out that I own some pretty beautiful covers. Still don't care about covers though. I will never buy a book solely based because the cover looks pretty. I don't care about the cover. I care about what's inside the book. So yeah, gonna go with the covers for my books. That's probably cheating. Oh, I haven't shown you my book covers yet. I will definitely do that. I will do that sometime this weekend. I'll do a whole video just showing you the covers of my books. So yeah. But the prettiest cover, well, I bought a lot of books this year, so and like I said, I don't care about covers, so I don't pay attention. So I have no idea what covers I own and what's pretty and what's not. Well, I mean, the Ash Princess trilogy is kind of pretty. So, I mean, I didn't buy the first one this year, but I bought the second and third one this year. So maybe I'll go with those. Because I have no idea. I don't care about covers. I don't know what's the prettiest, what's the ugliest. I do know what my prettiest cover is now because I was looking at my covers and one day because book 2 is all about covers apparently. And I did find out my prettiest cover. The book is in here right now because it's in my bedroom, but it's the third book in the Effigies trilogy, Legacy of Light. That cover's really pretty. Still don't care about covers though. So I'm gonna go with these 2 books. The second and third book of the Princess trilogy. The first book I did not buy this year, so it doesn't count because it said books you bought this year. So here are the covers for the second and third book in the trilogy. They are actually really pretty. I will have to admit that. But I didn't buy them because of their covers. I had no idea what their covers even look like when I bought them. I didn't even pay attention to the Ash Princess cover when I bought it at Barnes & Noble years ago. So, woo! Whoa, okay, that kind of what? Let's see. Number 15. What are some books you need to read this year? What are some books I need to read this year? A lot of books. A lot of books. What books do I need to read this year? Well, I need to finish the Shadow and Bone trilogy, which I plan on doing this weekend. Okay, not the trilogy, but the first book I plan on finishing this weekend. So there's the entire Grishaverse universe. Okay, and then there's, what else do I want to read this year? I don't know if I can read every book that's on my shelf this year at this point, because it's already July. I'm still gonna try, but the books I want to read the most would have to be the Grishaverse, Rise of Kyoshi, duology, whatever it is, Rise of the Guardians, or Guardians, I think it's the book series is just called Guardians. The movie's called Rise of the Guardians. I want to finish Warriors, Survivors, and Bravelands. And if I read all of those, I don't think I'm going to finish anything on here except for the Grishaverse. Because that's a lot of books. I really want to read An Ember in the Ashes. That's pretty high on my list as well. And so is Ash Princess. Because I've owned the first books in those series for a while, and then I finally bought the rest of the books in those series. Well, the second one of the An Ember in the Ashes series was given to me because I won this contest on Twitter, and they gave me that one, which I thought was funny because I owned the first one and I've been really wanting to read it. But yeah, so there's a lot of books I need to read, so that's always fun. So yeah, that's it. I think that was the last question, right? Yep. So please like and subscribe, and if you guys have any ideas of how to reorganize my bookshelves, I would love to know. I mean, I'm gonna keep one shelf for Aaron Hunter, and I'm gonna keep my charm books there just because they're small, and I have no other need for this shelf anyways. And the charm books are small, and pretty much the only book series that I think can actually fit on that shelf because the shelves on that bookshelf is kind of narrow. So yeah. So please comment ways to organize my bookshelf because I'm looking for new ways to do it, and I wanted to try something different, and that's why I did it this way. But I don't think it's working because these are the ones that has adaptions. These are the ones that aren't. Harry Potter has adaptation. The spin-off, Stickers of the Immortal Next Smell doesn't. So it's on a whole different shelf. And technically, they do kind of go together. Then there's Percy Jackson that has adaptation. There's Olympus that doesn't have adaptation, but they kind of go together. Yet they're on two different shelves. I don't know if that's working very well. But I wanted to try something different, and I thought this would be kind of cool. And it was for a little bit, but I want something different now. But I have no idea how or what to do. So, any suggestions I would love, and I'll talk to you guys later.